What's up, everybody? This is Tasteless over here on my YouTube channel. We're doing another Stormgate cast here. This is during the beta week of the ladder. These are two of the highest ranked players, Kiwian versus TheoRy. Kiwian over here as Vanguard and TheoRy as Infernal. So I'm going to let this replay start to go. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. You can always join me on my Twitch channel where I cast these games live with the rest of my Twitch community. Also go to tastelessthreads.com where you can find my merch. Now, into this game, Kiwian over here in the top right has been one of the strongest Vanguard players forever, for as long as Stormgate's been playable and competitive. So he was very good right at the beginning. He's got a lot of very interesting rushes that have been very successful. He's very abusive when it comes to cutting his way through trees and getting into vulnerable locations, although I don't know if that's going to be a factor on this map. This is map 2, Secluded Grove in the map rotation. We had, I think it was called Broken Hinterlands for map number 1. It looks like they're changing the maps every 2 to 3 days here. So in this game, oh my God. All right. He is actually going to be rushing right away. I'm looking really smart for saying he had a lot of interesting stuff that he would do. He's sending a bunch of bobs out. It looks as though we're going to have an attempted fast expand. Keep in mind, the dogs are actually very good against Gaunts here. The dogs are faster and win fights one-on-one. Oh, the micro. Oh, can he not get a kill on it? Oh, my God. That's insane. And the bobs can repair the dogs. Figure that out. This is wild. So what does he do? Looks like he's going to tower rush. The dog is getting an immediate denial over here. On the base, the imps are going to back up. And it looks like they're going to be going for just 2 shroud stones or towers, which can be denied. It doesn't seem like these warping and buildings are that strong. A full wall-in over here. As we're, I guess what you could call this is like a bunker rush. StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2-esque bunker rush. Notice that he didn't finish this one immediately. He's going to send the Bob back to go do that right now. Meanwhile, the Lancer on the outside is doing a lot of damage. It has been infested, excuse me, and by this Gaunt that's over here on the outside with no melee unit. There's no way to attack over there and hit that, but as the Lancer goes inside the tower, it can actually fire these hilariously animated. This is still in the beta, guys. This is a placeholder for sure, but these blades will bounce. They're like mutaglaves. And those blades are connecting onto the Gaunts. It looks like they actually get 2 to 3 shot a Gaunt. So that second Gaunt is picked off here. We've got an imp down here attacking. That's killed off immediately. It's going to be 5 towers gunning down. This is insane. This one's healing. This tower? Oh my God. What? Well, guys, we finally know the answer to the question. Yes, 5 towers from Inferno will beat 1 heal tower over here from Vanguard. Now this tower, I think it's going to be a different story. This is insane. Look at this. Just healing them all up. And another bunker's being made back there. There's even a meat farm back here, but it looks like all the Fellhogs were killed off as that came out. What is going on here? So this tower is going to die. There's no chance to miss in this iteration of the game firing up on a high ground. But as you can see, apparently the Infernal Tower does outrange the Lancer Tower. What does he have back here? He has 4 bobs mining. This is crazy. So, I mean, the reality is that there are way more imps actually getting resources. This is generally the rule when it comes to rushes like this, especially if you have to send workers in with your rush. You know, if you don't kill them right away, just because they have more workers long term, they usually end up better off. So I'm under the impression this doesn't really cost any resource to heal this, so it just kind of goes on. This tower right here, this is what you get if you don't put anything inside. So, you know, if you don't put a Lancer in or an Exo, you just get this kind of basic attack. It's honestly almost never worth it to have just the basic attack. It feels like currently in the game you can kind of ignore whatever they're doing. Anyways, we got the Bobs going back home. Look at that Bob stride. They do not have problems with their knees. Look at that glide. So they're going to go back. He's immediately going to mine a lot over here of Theorem. He's not even mining the resources as far as Luminite goes. Over here, I mean, look, the reality is TheoRy survived the attack. It was a scary attack. It looked like it almost, you know, lost the game for him, but now he has healthy defense. There's no way to advance in this position. Again, Infernal Towers do outrange, from what I understand, all the towers that were used from Lancer back here. You see the dogs had moved around. They wanted to check for hidden bases. That's another thing that can happen when you're proxied, especially when you're contained, is sometimes you can take like a base up here and just, you know, get ahead that way. And now it's going to be a game of catch-up here for Kiwian. This is going to be tough. Now, this doesn't come without its own problems here for TheoRy as well. TheoRy needs to get out of here and destroy these structures. I see someone in chat saying that they should salvage the posts. I mean, here's the problem. You know, you need something that's going to be a threat so they can't just run out and expand themselves. Right now, Kiwian is behind. Doesn't mean he can't win, but this is not good. And so Kiwian goes immediately for a Hornet. I've had minimal experience with Hornets in my game, but it does seem like the Hornet is like a viable unit to go for. Oh, wow. And look at this. I've seen from watching TheoRy's stream, he does like to try to take the middle base early. I don't see why you wouldn't want to take this early if you're ahead. This base is so much better than this base. I mean, you get double the Luminite, double the stone, and can basically spend all your money just, you know, saturating these areas here. And he actually never destroyed this. He used the Doombringer. I'm sorry, where is this Doombringer? It's somewhere, because that's how this got out, right? And he's now going around the map creeping. Now, keep in mind that the creeping hasn't really occurred yet for Kiwian, at least from what I've seen. I don't really see any of his creeps killed off on this side of the map. Everything's you know, still in its early iterations. But now TheoRy can push out. Now, keep in mind, the Infest ability, this is probably like the most important ability to understand in the game. You can get it from the dragons or this global ability, but most importantly, you get it from Gaunts. That's when you're going to be dealing with it on your day-to-day. And, you know, oh, hold on. He's going to come in here with these Hornets and just kill the Gaunts. This is hilarious. So Gaunts can beat Hornets, but if you have enough... Oh, my God. All right. That was crazy. The Shadow Flyer just got there and killed that. I was going to say, if you have a couple of the Hornets, you can snowball fights with Gaunts. Gaunts are really, really brittle. So I think there was a moment that Kiwian probably could have gained control of this and driven him back into his base, maybe even forced another Shadow Cleft out here. But instead, it was handled very nicely there from TheoRy. Now, Kiwian has his own base up. I got to say, Kiwian is a really robust, like, dynamic player. He's got a lot of different approaches to everything that you see here. But just to go back to what I was saying earlier, Infest is an important ability to understand. If the Infest starts to have its chain reaction and hit a couple Lancers or Bobs, these Lancers are very low, by the way, so these are really high-value targets for the Infernal player, you can just overpower them. So this is you know, in my head, this is still Defense Matrix. I'm sorry, guys, I don't know the word for this yet, but this gives you a shield, which makes the Hornet extremely powerful. Oh my God, this is really nice. So it looks like from TheoRy's position, it's better to basically wait for the shield to wear off and then use a Shadow Flyer. We've got a big attack coming in here. This could actually end the game. He does take out the Hornet. It looks like we're gonna have a run by. This is kind of cool. Now, there's no Gaunt with the army right now. So Infest is not a factor like I was talking about. Now there's a Gaunt up here. One gaunt is sometimes all you need for this infest contagion to really take off. And a lot of times you'll see the other players try to come in here and target the gaunt for that exact reason. But already some of these have been infested. But you know, that Bob buffing ability, that's really good. So the brutes have been denied here. You know, the brutes, they're kind of like StarCraft zealots. The problem is that they don't get faster later on in the game. So, you know, it's hard to get things done with them. But really good defense there from TheoRy. I'm sorry, from Kiwian. TheoRy's attack in like that really backfired. Right now, it seems like with the Bob overcharge ability, repair on these buildings is really good. Like, sometimes they'll get a base set up, and it's almost better to just try to figure out how to stop their next base than trying to finish the base that they had set up over here. So, TheoRy's going to go back, and he's going to start expanding and creeping. The expansion's over here. The creeping we saw earlier. And he's going to set up for, I guess, a drop? Yeah. This unit, by the way, right now is a little bit buggy. I find I have to right-click on it a couple times to get it to quick load. But the same thing's going to happen over here from Kiwian. Honestly, these are, at times, my favorite games to cast. The ones that start out with crazy cheese, but then nobody's dead. And people figure out how to get back into them because the games are so different from what you would normally find. It's really hard to tell where each player is going to be at because every rush is different. You know, some rushes more workers are killed or less are killed or different tech was killed. So this is fun. This is very cool. Now, we've got another attack in over here. Now, I don't think this is a wise decision. Yeah. And so he's going to have to try to stay back. Creep priority is going to TheoRy, although it does seem like generally... Wait, what? Okay, hold on. Oh, wait. He wants to drop on it. Oh, that was like very tactical. I'm very impressed. So he actually made it look like he might drop into the main and then just drop there so there wasn't enough to repair that tower. The problem is that I think with this number of Lancers out, you just take the fight. He's going to drop these gaunts up over here. Yeah, and another kind of wonky fight. Now, he is going to get the kill on that, but it looks like the infest just wore off. He's using this really well-positioned gaunt up here to get these, yeah, to just do these shots over here. I've never really seen this setup where you have the brutes, like, in between the command post. Oh, and he's going to cast a big infest over here. Oh, this is sick. Oh, my God. If he can actually get this a snowball, it's going to be huge, but I think Kiwian might still just be able to persist here. This was a wild fight, dude. That was crazy. That almost just completely messed up Kiwian. Again, when these fights happen over the Bobs, that's when it gets pretty crazy. Oh my God, he macroed up a lot. So he's going to use the slam ability. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of this ability. He's going to use that to knock these trees down, and he can get access to the middle base. I've seen TheoRy do this a lot versus expanding to like this space here or this space here. And it does seem to force the Vanguard to figure the game out because the middle base is so good. Now, as we get to further tech in the game, you'll notice the Magmadons are, you know, pretty slow. They might not look as slow because they're walking next to brutes. Brutes are also really slow. At least when you compare them to how quickly Lancers and Exos and other units can move. And that seems to be a defining feature of the matchup right now. Uh-oh. The pew-pew lasers do not end up getting the kill onto the Doombringer. This is basically a warp prism that has to land. It has to dock onto the ground to unload. There's been quietly a fourth base taken here. So they're actually fairly even on expos. This is obviously a much higher value expo in every metric imaginable. Other than that, it's like not that easy to defend. But I don't think this is the hardest middle base to defend. Honestly, when they made this map, they were pretty ready to like let people experiment with taking the middle. This is not like a fighting spirit or anything like that. Which for me, when it comes to casting, that's always the first map that has a middle base that I always think of. Middle bases are good, I think, by the way. You don't want them in every map, but I think it's a good way to kind of force conclusions. So, he's really tearing down all these trees. And it looks like the harass is basically stopped. Creeping has also stopped as well. Now, seeing these imps come up here, I would imagine this is just to start to stoke the resources up here. I think if we were not in a game that looked like this, we would guess this is going to be used for flame imps, but he wants to populate the stone specifically. Luminite as well, of course, but this will allow him to have a lot more attack. And he's going to litter this area with shroud stones, which are basically like obelisks or towers. More imps are coming up. And by the way, I don't actually know if TheoRy has seen this base yet. It feels like Kiwian scouting has maybe been a little bit better and just kind of confirming what's going on everywhere. One of the things I've noticed, I think just because the game is so new, is if you start to be bad at spending your money, like I've been in a couple of these games, you can just mass expand everywhere and it's kind of hard for them to keep track of. So he went for a Magmadon drop. This is actually looking way stronger than I thought. And here we go. He's going to do another one. Let's watch this, and how this mechanically works as he comes in. I guess we might not see it. This part of the game might be over, but I'm a little bit curious. I've been really liking Gaunt drops just because I can kind of infest stuff and get in and get out, but this is kind of another interesting way to do it. See what it just happened over there? You might have missed that. That was subtle. This was something I only learned yesterday. There's some things that you can get that'll give you, it's like an item you attack, and it'll give you Theorem or Luminite or something like that. So I'm looking at this game, and I feel like on paper, TheoRy's won in that he has the center of the map. But, you know, he has to start hitting these other locations. Bases like this, you know, if you don't have towers over here to defend him, you know, the Lancer or something else like that in there, even a couple of Fiends can be a big problem. We also have the Magmadon drops coming in here. The truth is, Kiwian, he mass expanded, but he never really respected the fact that his opponent could just come in here and drop. You know, even just a couple of Fiends were already causing a huge problem for this base down here. And we're having everything collect in the middle. Is this possible that this replay is bugged? If we don't see some movement, okay. If we don't start to see like real movement, all right, no, there's actual stuff happening. He's actually gonna move out of the map. I was like, all right, wait a minute, is this actually like... Now, Kiwian's gonna move down here through the bottom. And it seems like finally, TheoRy's got them, you know, the composition that he feels like he can comfortably move out on the map with. It takes a while, in my experience. I've been maining as Infernal. It takes a while to actually get enough of the Magmadons and the Hellborns and the Weavers, like we see over here, out to where you could start to advance. It almost seems like you have a lot of control of the map early on, and then that just goes away, and you have to try to turtle and camp it out. And so these trees are getting torn down here. Now Kiwian is going to come down here and just try to hit this base. Gets the health regen thing. The health regen in this iteration is pretty milquetoast, to be honest. And I think that, you know, when you see TheoRy protecting the middle the way that he is here, God, look at this like ant farm like maze that he's got his units stuck in. That's actually why I thought everything was bugged for a second. I'm like, what is his stuff doing? It's actually that this is just such a congested and gridlocked area. So what Kiwian's doing is when he sees that he's just protecting the main like that, or the middle of the map, rather, he decides to just hit these exterior bases like he did over here earlier. Now, one of the dilemmas for the Infernal in this matchup right now is that it's pretty hard to deal with the kiting. You can see that the Exos kind of pick off these weaker units. And he's going to go for a dive now. It's just a bit of an overextension. We don't have a Dragon out yet. Keep that in mind here, too. Magmadon's going to go for the dive, but that's picked off there. It does seem like the med techs in the back can't really heal the infantry in the front. We also have two, I guess, an expansion on top of the expansion happening over here. Got another push coming up. Dragon is in play. And so the Dragon can cast Infest onto everything and then vacuum that back up to get more health. Although right now this Dragon is actually hitting another base. It's going to come in a little bit further here. Big heal boost over here. That is from this building right here. I believe you put a... Well, I guess you put a medic in that, or med tech in that to get that. And this is one of the new defining features in the game for Vanguard is you know, the fact that these little defensive towers can kind of change and morph depending on what unit you put in there. It gives you this Swiss Army knife defense. Now again, this is one of these games where it appears like we're going to have to start to tally up who's mined what, and you know, who will have stuff left over after things have mined out. But it's a little bit hard to tell because we see this middle base has been taken for a long time here from TheoRy, but Kiwian has this base and this base. So, I mean, I guess he has a little bit more, but I'm not sure. It seems like Kiwian feels compelled to try and pounce on this position, but again, the way I look at it on this map, Vanguard versus Infernal, really, like, you don't want to let the Infernal take the middle of the map here. He's going to push in again. And, you know, he really can't get a whole lot done. I think with the combination of the towers that are already here defending and the Hellborns, which have that incredible long-range attack, you're just eating damage. Meanwhile, we've got a big Flaming Drop, and that just wipes out the workers. You know, if this base is denied, I mean, there's barely anything here. He's literally going to tower rush the Doombringer. This might be enough to make it economically impossible, unfeasible for Kiwian to win. Kiwian does seem to be struggling here. This is definitely like his game where he's the one that has to solve the problem. He tries to come around from the bottom here. He's going to go for a couple creeps, see what he can find there. This is going to pull this big lumbering army back out, and he's going to try to take a fight down here. Global Shroud has been casted. That's going to give TheoRy a lot more sustain. And I mean, you can see he just has enough. Meanwhile, there's going to be reinforcements coming in here. It seems like the towers can kind of clip some of these units if they get a little bit too close. The Dragon is still going to be, a permanent thing over here. The Shroud disappears. Remember, it's not like StarCraft 2 where the creep, so to speak, would give you speed, or the Shroud would give you speed. It lets you gain white health, which is like shields that you slowly gain over time. Excuse me. Get a drink of water here. Okay. He is going to try to push up. Now, look, I think there's a real opportunity here for TheoRy. I might be miscalculating this, but to try to start to shell this base. I feel like he's spent a lot of time in here, where it's probably better if he can tear down the trees and just kind of poke in over here. Although I guess there is a threat that Vanguard would run around and hit his base over here. Flame Imps are going to come down. And they are making a beeline. Are they making it? They are making a beeline. Okay, there we go. And he just nukes that spot. And so, I mean, look, these bases are barely mining. I think that TheoRy can probably close this out by just continuing to make Flame Imps and doing what he's doing. He's finally going to open these trees up over here. That does prompt some of these Exos to go for a dive. I think more of the trees need to be torn down to allow more circulation here. This is a lot of infest over here on these Exos, but can he actually start to kill off the front line? This is insane, man. He's coming forward here. It looks like there's some targeting there on the dragon, at least for a second. Another big infest comes down. Kiwian, upon that huge infest, does back up. Meanwhile, we have more Bobs being cranked out over here. I mean, look, Kiwian could maybe win this game by just milking these bases for as long as he can. I'm waiting for the moment that the Luminite dies over here. That's when we're going to know exactly what kind of game we got in store for us here. Okay, we've got 2 dragons out. 2 dragons is a lot. I didn't even know you could get 2 dragons until like an hour ago. Now, again, I wonder if it would be more worth it to just use these dragons and just start to hit these Bobs over here. Or anywhere. Okay, we've got the Exos advancing in here. And I gotta say, one thing I've learned from casting and following Valorant, Vanguard, is that, like, man, they just have sustain that is crazy. And part of me imagines they won't have the same kind of sustain in the next few iterations, but you can see they're just able to advance in this position. Okay, we've got another push coming up here. More infest coming down. This is no longer mineable right now. So this is actually kind of wild. He's continuing to cycle through infest whenever he can. We've actually got an Atlas that is in range of the shrine. Well, he's hitting that in, but this also is in range of the shrine, like we're seeing right there. Now, could he use the Weaver to maybe harpoon that? And honestly, TheoRy seems to be kind of skirting away from this. He's going to just give this up. This is insane. I never thought that he would lose his position. He's going to bail on it. He's even taking his imps. He's taking everything with him. And part of me feels like I don't want to be too critical of either of the players here because it's such a new game. Everybody's trying to learn. But it seems like this was probably the play earlier on. And just come in here and crush this position. Now, with the ebb and flow of this game, it seems like this is going to prompt Kiwian to just kind of push in and try to slam this position down here. And so they're starting to do like a lot of damage over here. He's made some flame imps. Where are they exactly? I didn't find them. Sorry, guys. And so this base is killed off. TheoRy does not have income. Granted, I mean, there can't be that much left over here. And so instead, we're going to see him go in here and go basically push for infrastructure. Now, keep in mind, 2 dragons, any units that are killed are going to be more fiends in the game. So this is getting a little bit crazy. Yeah, see, just like that. A couple more fiends. Now, that might not seem like a lot. I mean, they're basically like maybe a little bit tankier than a Zergling, but it actually means a lot when you're talking about these big sustain armies going at each other. Here we go. This base mine's out real quick. Just a reminder. Okay, more infests are coming down here. Okay, he does the global shroud. Another big moment. It just seems like these brutes are slowly getting wiped out. Here comes some fiends, but I don't know if it can snowball. It seems like there's so many exos. Well, hold on. The infested units are spawning fiends. Infestos, man. Then it seems like they might just have enough damage to start to snowball this. Again, every few infestors he can, fiends. I don't know what's going on with you guys. Sorry. He can start to drive this back. Look, he's doing it. He's doing it. Now, one thing I've learned from playing is that when you get the fiends, you can actually run in here and surround these exos. The exos are actually pretty bad versus fiends when they're by themselves. So he's gonna get the kill. Long distance mining happening over here. No mining happening here for TheoRy. Just mining happening here at the bottom right. Who needs resources? Oh my God, he's pulling a lot of imps. Now again, another thing you can do with that infest is you can get these creeps. You're gonna get a bigger army. And when Vanguard is like this, they don't actually have like look, this is gonna be another infest. Boom, two more fiends. So he's slowly accumulating a bigger and bigger army. This is really interesting. Another Bob. He backs up. This is still mining, which is crazy to me. But I mean, some of these units are so expensive. And if you look for Vanguard, I mean, what does he have exactly? He's got some Hornets. The Hornets are an interesting touch because, like, what actually hits air? To be honest, I think the Dragon can hit air, but I'm not totally sure. The Brutes, the Fiends, obviously cannot. I don't believe the Hellborns hit air. So maybe the Hornets. Oh, by the way, long distance mining. I'm sorry, I thought these were for Flame Imp. So he's actually got a long distance mine. This game is insane, dude. Oh, he just killed the Dragon. Oh my God. Oh my God. Does Kiwian win this? What? Oh my God. Never mind. He gets all of them killed off with that one Shadow Flyer. That's insane. So a couple gaunts have been remade now. All right, another Gaunton over here. Ooh, got to avoid that turret. Do not get near that turret. So we have long distance mining. I mean, I would imagine that there's not enough money for a shrine in this game. So like every Shadow Flyer you see, which by the way just has this blue placeholder here, clearly it's not like a, you know, something from Splatoon. It will actually have a drawing on top of it. But every Shadow Flyer you see is really valuable because it took all the resources from back here, long distance mining from the stone, to make it buildable. It's really cheap. It's like, I think, cheaper than the Scourges technically from StarCraft 1. Uh-oh, and this was just now mined out. Oh, but if he doesn't have the Dragon, what am I saying? I was gonna say if he could get some infests off and get these Bobs, that would be crazy. Uh-oh. The Hornets found the imps. Shadow Flyers inbound. They've been triggered. No, they have not. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Flame. No, I think you trigger the Shadow Flyer to attack it and do damage. I'm not totally sure. Whoa, do you see how fast those Bobs all spaced off of that Luminite? That was insane. Coming back in. Oh man, these Lancers are very good against the Fiends. Is this too late here with the Shroud? Okay, he's taking these fights. Again, these Lancers are so beefy. I think that Vanguard wins here. Yeah. What in the world? Think of how this game started and how it ended, by the way. I guess that's it. That's GG. That was crazy. That was an insane game. Yeah, 35 minutes, chat. Again, if you like this kind of content, please do like and subscribe. I'll be putting out more casts, videos, my own gameplay for Stormgate as we get further along in its development. Go to tastelessthreads.com where you can get my merch. I've got a bunch of great stuff I think you'll enjoy. Esports related, RTS related, nerd gaming related, whatever. Join me on my Twitch stream where I cast these live. Have a good one. I'll see you in another video. Bye-bye.